Hey, Pastor Scott with you again this week. I want to thank you for taking a couple of moments and sitting down and watching this video blog. Well, as we talked about in the sermon last weekend, we've got this enemy, Satan, the devil. We learned about his nature and we learned about his tactics. We learned about the fact that he wants to destroy not only our relationship with God, but he wants to destroy our marriages. And we looked at the key biblical strategy for fighting against his attacks and for getting ourselves back into the intimacy and the safety of marriage that God designed in his original pattern that we looked at last week. You remember what that strategy was? You remember what that strategy is? It's to treat our spouse the way God treats us. And one of the things that I didn't have time to expound on, to develop as fully as I would have liked to, is this issue that crops up in our hearts and in our lives where we're free, we're glad to, we freely receive forgiveness from God, but we are less willing to bend it out and to apply to our spouse the same forgiveness that God has given to us. As the Lord works in my heart, and as I sense what he's doing in me, he's showing me this is an issue in my life of self-righteousness, where I think I am better than the other person. I should be forgiven. Absolutely, I'm worthy of forgiveness. But the person who's offended me, not worthy of it, and I'm not going to give it to them. Jesus had something to say about this. I want to read this to you really quick, make one or two comments, and that'll be our blog for the weekend. When Peter came to him, this is Matthew 18:21. When Peter came to him and said, "Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Up to 7 times?" And Jesus said to him, "I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. And then he tells this story. "For this reason, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his slaves." You know how this story goes, doesn't it? Don't you? When he had begun to settle them, one owed him 10,000, and this one was brought to him. He didn't have the means to repay. His Lord commanded him to be sold along with his wife and his children and all that he had. Slave fell to the ground, begged for forgiveness, begged for mercy, and received it. Then that slave went out, and he got with somebody who owed him so much less than what he owed his owner. And he had that guy thrown in jail because he couldn't pay. What happened with this slave is what happens with us. We owe God so much, and he forgives us. And for reasons of self-righteousness, we then go to people who owe us nothing compared to what we owe God, and we refuse to forgive them. And when that happens, Satan is able to take advantage of his strategy and create more separation in our marriages. So this week, in addition to what we talked about and what we looked at, consider in your own hearts your willingness to bend out and to give forgiveness to somebody who owes you a lot less than what you owe the one who has freely forgiven you of all things. Thanks. Have a great week. We'll see you next week as we take a look into the life and the marriage of Abraham and Sarah. See you at church.